Hot off the heels of the 60th anniversary specials, we are about to get another landmark Doctor Who episode. So without further ado, here are 10 reasons to be excited for this year's Christmas special, The Church on Ruby Road. So first things first, as I have just said, this is a Christmas special, the first one in 6 years for the programme, and that's the first thing on this list, the fact that we are getting a Christmas special for the first time since 2017. Now obviously we have still had New Doctor Who aired over the festive period every year since 2005, apart from last year when we're in the final sort of period, the transitional period between Jodie and the new RCD era. So there's nothing last year, but we have had the New Year's Day specials over the past few years before that for the Jodie 13th Doctor's era, and they were very fun for what they were, and personally I didn't mind the change from Christmas to New Year. I thought it was a nice sort of change of pace and change of style, but you know, it has been 6 years since the last Doctor Who Christmas special. I think it is time for another one. Luckily RCD agrees, and given his track record from his first era, I'm sure this will be very Christmassy indeed in terms of the trappings and the iconography and stuff. I mean, here's of course the man who originated this tradition of having Doctor Who at Christmas in the first place, so he's the perfect person to bring it back. Really looking forward to having a first Christmas special in 6 years. Something else I'm very much looking forward to is the arrival of Ncuti Gatwa's Doctor, the 15th Doctor, and that is entry 2 on this list. Now obviously we have already seen a little bit of Ncuti's Doctor, more so than we would have usually seen by this point because of the way the generation was handled, because it was a bi-generation. We got I think about 20 minutes or so of him in The Giggle, so we've got some idea of what his Doctor will be like. So certainly based on that and interviews and stuff and things that Ncuti has said and the trailers, I think very much a kind of young, lively, energetic, charismatic Doctor, a Doctor for our times, you know, kind of Gen Z Doctor, a TikTok generation Doctor, if you like, and I suppose that is the kind of audience they'll be trying to reach with Ncuti's Doctor. Obviously, you know, he's already got such a large following anyway. But yes, it's always exciting to have a new incarnation of the Doctor and to see them in action doing their thing. It's about 18 months or so since Ncuti's casting was announced, so it has been a long time coming, and to think we're about to get him on screen as the Doctor at last is very, very exciting indeed. Of course, the Doctor is always joined by at least one companion, and at number 3 we have the new companion for Ncuti's Doctor, Ruby Sunday, as played by Millie Gibson. Now I think with Ruby, with Millie, we kind of have even less of an idea of what to expect. You know, I'm no avid follower of Coronation Street, but obviously that's where Millie kind of became a bit of a name. I think Doctor Who will be the thing that kind of really propels her into the mainstream and hopefully makes her a star in her own right. But yes, I'm kind of going in pretty blind with her. I haven't seen any of her previous work, haven't seen the core or anything, and I think with Ruby as a character, we know certain things about her. There's this mystery about her birth and how she was adopted and how that's going to play into her character and the kind of recurring cast of characters around her as well. We know that she's in a band and is quite musical, presumably, and that is also going to play into some future episodes and storylines. But yeah, sort of beyond that, I think this is a real blank slate as far as I'm concerned. We've been told very, very little about Ruby, and I think that makes it all the more exciting to meet this new character for the first time. And hopefully, like Ncuti, she's going to really surprise us, and I think Millie hopefully will knock our socks off with the acting too. For our 4th entry, let's turn our attention to those other characters around Ruby Sunday, her family and these new side characters. So we have her adoptive mother and grandmother, that is Carla, played by Michelle Greenidge, and Cherry, played by Angela Winter. That will be the kind of family unit that is there in next year's series as well, to kind of just give a bit of background to Ruby, to the character, to kind of flesh her out a bit. And you know, Russell has always been great at doing family dynamics and family units and stuff. You know, I've been reminded of that with the return of the Temple Nobles, or all the Nobles in the 60th specials. So I've no doubt that that's going to be really great to see in terms of the dynamics there and the banter and stuff like that. And then we also have a 3rd character associated with the Sunday household, Mrs. Flood, played by Anita Dobson, whose involvement in the series I think was announced around the same time as Michelle Greenidge, and we didn't know the names of the characters then, but now we do. So she is going to be the next door neighbour, I think, or the neighbour in the next flat or something, and we're going to see her every now and then, you know, once again in the special, and then in next year's season as well, just saying hello or keeping vigil or something like that. I did recently read in a review that apparently there's going to be like a jaw-dropping line from Mrs. Flood towards the end of the episode, something which is presumably like a hanging plot thread that's going to be picked up later on. No idea what to expect from that, but very, very exciting, very, very intriguing, and yeah, all three of these characters I'm very much looking forward to getting to know them and to meeting them. Three actors who I'm not at all familiar with, so that's going to be really, really nice. At number 5, we have the other major guest star appearing in this story, Davina McCall, who, in a kind of break with Doctor Who tradition, is appearing as herself. She's not playing another character, she is literally appearing as Davina McCall, as like a television presenter on a kind of long-lost family type programme, and Millie Gibson's character Ruby is involved with that, and there's some other details that were in the leaks and things that I won't say any more about in this video. But yes, suffice to say that Davina will probably be getting some interesting things to do in the story. I'm not sure how big her involvement will be overall. I wouldn't be surprised if it's not that big, apart maybe just like a couple of scenes or something, because she's not really been talked about that much in the pre-publicity and stuff like that. But who knows? Davina, again, is someone, you know, as a British person, I'm sort of vaguely familiar with her, like from Big Brother and things. Not that I've kind of watched a lot of her necessarily, but she's one of those kind of names that you are sort of vaguely aware of. And of course, she did appear in Doctor Who previously, or her voice at least, in the Series 1 finale as the Davina droid, I think it was called, in the Big Brother house. So it's a return to the show for her, hopefully just as good a role, if not better. At number 6, we have the antagonists for this story, the Goblins and the Goblin King. Now, I'll be talking about a certain set piece or scene involving these characters in just a moment, but for the time being, let's just talk about the Goblins and the Goblin King themselves. Now, I think the design work on these guys looks pretty good in terms of the costumes and the prosthetics and stuff. Yeah, not too much to say about them, really. I don't think they're going to play a massive role in the story. I think they will just be kind of like a monster of the week type thing who don't come back or have any kind of bigger bearing on events. I think the mystery with Ruby's birth will be a bigger thing, obviously, but I'm not expecting the Goblins to be the evil masterminds behind that. I think they'll just be like a small part of the jigsaw, really. So yeah, I think they'll be a one-off kind of antagonist, but nice enough for Christmas and for the plots and for kids as well. I think the kids really will like, you know, the Goblins and the Goblin King with his wobbly chin or whatever it is. Which is, of course, a line from the Goblin song, which all of you, I'm sure, will have been listening to and streaming. And yes, it's not made it to Christmas number 1. I don't think it was ever really going to. I don't think anyone was really expecting that, but they tried, God bless them. So yes, if you somehow have missed it, there will be a musical number in this story. Doctor Who's first kind of proper musical number, really. I mean, we've had, you know, musical set pieces in the past in the show, but this is literally going to be the characters, you know, breaking into song, as you can see in the lyric video they have released. And there's also a suggestion as well, there will be more of this song in the actual episode. You know, the Doctor and Ruby will join in. You know, Shooter will get to sing, and Ruby, obviously being a musical character, she'll get to play a part as well. So it'll all kind of tie in nicely. It'll be a nice thing for Christmas Day, I suppose, for a Christmas special. A bit different for the show, not to everybody's tastes, but yeah. And of course, music-wise, we do also have 2 other pieces or themes to look forward to in this story. The new themes for Ruby and the 15th Doctor, which we have already heard in that 60th concert, and Shooty's theme was also glimpsed briefly in The Giggle, but this will be where those 2 themes really do come into their own. You know, it's always really nice to have a new character with a new theme, a new leitmotif, and to kind of hear that develop and crystallise over the course of their first story. So really looking forward to that. You know, we have 2 very different themes here for 2 pretty different characters. The kind of haunting, beautiful theme for Ruby on the piano, and then with Shooty the kind of relentless galloping, dun 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 dun. And hearing those both in action is going to be a real treat. Something else that will be nice to see in action is the new sonic screwdriver for Shooty's Doctor, for the 15th Doctor. A very big departure, possibly the biggest departure yet for the Sonic. I have talked about it on the channel already, so do go and check out those relevant videos if you haven't watched them yet. But yeah, I don't know what else to say about it, really. You know, it's a kind of classy device in its own right. It looks quite nice, and it's kind of growing on me. but it's so different to the other Sonics that we've had that I think it will take a very long time to actually look at it and see it and think, oh yeah, that's the sonic screwdriver, just because it is such a departure. But of course, actually seeing it in action is another thing entirely. You know, that's what matters, really. And so seeing the Doctor use it, seeing how he uses it, seeing how it appears on screen, that will be the key thing. And even as someone who's not 100% sold on the idea of this being the new Sonic, I am still very much looking forward to that, of course. And last but not least, we have the thing that's going to come immediately after The Church on Ruby Road. That is a brand new trailer, the first new trailer for next year's season, the 2024 season, Season 1, whatever you're calling it. Our first proper glimpse of the Doctor and Ruby's adventures together. You know, we know some stuff about these episodes already, but there's a lot that's still under wraps. So I do wonder with this whether there might be some surprises in terms of, I don't know, actors or returning characters or monsters, or maybe just new monsters. I'm certainly hoping for some kind of big surprising moments that make you go, oh my god, and really kind of tide us over until next spring or whenever it's going to be that these episodes come out. That is what I'm looking forward to in The Church on Ruby Road, but what are your hopes and predictions and expectations and theories for this story? Please do let me know down in the comments below. If you have enjoyed this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you're new for more stuff like this in the future. But otherwise, until the next one, thank you so much for watching, and goodbye for now.